Alright guys, so yeah, we're doing another method of solving these systems of equations. This one is called substitution. Now I will say this one does take the most amount of time. There's no shortcuts, there's nothing you can do with Desmos to make this any easier. It just takes a good bit of time. It's a lot of working out. But what you do is you want to get one of your equations either in x equals form or y equals form. And then you substitute that into the other equation and solve for the variable. Then you substitute that again and solve again. So yeah, that sounds confusing, but let's just see how it works out with hand. So if you notice, both of these are already in y equals form. So our first step was to get it either x or y by itself. Luckily, both of them have y by itself. So what you're going to do, since y equals 4x minus 1 and y equals 2x minus 5, is you can plug whichever one of these in for the other y. So just to make this simpler, I'm going to plug this in for y. And the reason we're allowed to do that is because y equals 4x minus 1. So 4x minus 1 can be plugged in for y because that's what y equals. So to work this out, I'm going to put 4x minus 1 instead of that y equals 2x minus 5. And then we just have a multi-step equation at that point. So now we're going to subtract 2x on both sides. 4x minus 2x is 2x. Minus 1 equals negative 5. Then add 1 on both sides. And you'll get 2x equals negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. Divide by 2. And x equals negative 2. So that's our first x value. Well, remember with graphing we had to get an ordered pair. So we have our x, now we got to figure out our y. So to figure out the y, you're going to choose whichever equation you want and plug negative 2 in for the x value. So I'm just going to use this top equation. So y equals 4. Instead of x is now negative 2. So I'm going to put negative 2 in the spot for x. I didn't mean to put equals 1, minus 1. Here, I'm just going to rewrite that. So 4, negative 2, minus 1. So once again, the way I got that is I plugged this negative 2 in for this x. So 4 times negative 2 is negative 8. Then negative 8 minus 1 is negative 9. So now we have negative 2 and negative 9. So to get your final answer, you're going to write it as an ordered pair, negative 2, negative 9. And that's all you do. So all of these luckily have y by itself, y by itself. This one, x is by itself. I'll just show you a quick example. So this one, we're going to do the 4y plus 7 in the spot for x, since x equals that. So now instead of 4y plus 7, or instead of x right here, I'm going to put 2, parenthesis, what x equals, which is 4y plus 7, minus 6y equals 12. So that's a big reason why you got to get your variable by itself. Then we do 2 times 4y. 2 times 4y is 8y. 2 times 7 is 14. Minus 6y equals 12. So now we have 8y minus 6y. 8y minus 6y. That would be 2y plus 14 equals 12. Then subtract 14. And 2y equals negative 2. Then divide by 2, and y equals negative 1. So that's our y value. Now we got to find our x. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to plug this negative 1 back into this equation because x is already by itself, so that would just be less work. So now I'm going to do x equals 4 instead of y. I'm going to put this negative 1 in for this y plus 7. So 4 times negative 1 is negative 4 plus 7. Negative 4 plus 7 is 3. So now our order pair is going to be 3, -1. And that's our final answer. So it just requires a good bit of work. It's not too hard. It just requires a lot of work. All right. So what I want you all to do is try to do a few on the back side. I'm going to do the first one with you because if you'll notice, you don't have a variable by itself. So I would first, this top one's going to be way easier to get by itself than the bottom one because you already have a y without a coefficient. So you just subtract 2x on both sides, and that would give you y equals -2x minus 2. So does everyone see how I did that? Just get the y by itself by subtracting 2x on both sides. You did this in Algebra 1 Part A, so that shouldn't be too hard. So now we're going to plug this -2x minus 2 in for the y. So I'm going to rewrite that as 5x plus 3. Instead of y, I'm going to put -2x minus 2 equals -8. So now we have 5x. 3 times -2x is -6x. 3 times -2 is -6 equals -8. Then combine your like terms. 5x minus 6x. 5x minus 6x, that would be -1x, or just -x. Minus 6 equals -8. Add 6 on both sides, and you get -x equals -8 plus 6 is -2. Then you divide by -1, and x equals 2. So that's our x value. Now we got to find the y. So I'm going to plug this 2 in for the x on this second equation that we created, just because it's a lot easier that way. So -2, instead of x, I'm going to put 2 in for x minus 2. So -2 times 2 is -4 minus 2, and then -4 minus 2 is -6. So now our order pair will be 2, -6, and then you're done. So as you can tell, it's not that hard, it just takes a little bit more time. What's nice about having these videos, you can pause and write it down as I'm going over and things. But what I'd like for you all to do is try to do 6 through 11. So 6 through 11 is what I want you to have done by tomorrow. So 6 through 11. All right, good luck, and I'll pop back on at 12:30 to see if anybody needs any extra help.